And that's how we ended up getting the what she said was we'll get the preachers to go out and tell them that this is good for them, but if they
More rebellion.
yeah, we won't let them know that what we're really trying to do is exterminate them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here we see the same thing now. I mean, this procedure everybody's talking about as being something as a woman's health care. That's what they
Right.
use, women's health issues and all of that. No, you're talking about killing babies.
That's
That's what
right.
you're talking about.
Well, here I'm gonna say that I'm about starting a pro-life revolution, and that's what they're doing right now in California. This lady Catherine Egan, that used to be on the side of pro-choice, is now switched over, and she's doing she's in. See, we can. There has to be an alternative to Planned Parenthood, and so we need to promote these alternatives to Planned Parenthood, because and then they use words like this right here. Planned Parenthood use words like this, like unwanted pregnancy,
Yeah.
or planned,
Unplanned.
or
Yeah.
they have to be planned.
Well, like I said, it's
and
a
so-
persuasive argument
so-
if you say
and they
we
all this has become they use these words and they've been embedded in the culture.
Well, like I said, it's a persuasive argument if you use that as the alternative to abortion.
But
nowadays,
yeah.
women thinking people believe that this is a right, and they talk about protecting that right, just like Hillary did. Let me go to our lines and we're going to go to Mark from Waterloo Township. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning. How are you today? A wonderful show as always.
Well, thank you very much.
You may have covered this. I must confess I tuned in early or late today. Pardon me. I'm feeding the farm animals.
Oh.
And that the coin. I recently wrote correction. I recently read an article on how the coin phrase, a woman's right to choose, was actually coined by Adolf Hitler in Poland after the Germans had taken over the western half of Poland, because abortions in Poland were illegal due to, Catholic faith. And he came in with women should have the right to choose. It was an attempt to eradicate what they consider to be a lesser race, Polish, and not the Aryan race. And I just thought it was interesting from the article, which I can send an email to you guys if you wish, on the article itself.
Yeah, why not?
This phrase,
Yeah, send it to us.
So this phrase that Planned Parenthood is using, a woman's right to choose, was coined by Adolf Hitler.
I'm not surprised by that.
Well,
Well,
I can give you an earlier example. I don't want to try to one up you, but
Please do.
But the Lincoln Douglas debates, that was what Douglas said many times, that a person should be, he should be able to choose whether or not he would want to own a slave. So
okay.
So that line of thinking goes with people that are bound to take liberty from people. You see what's going on in this country right now under the dictatorship of this administration, where their organizations, all of their agencies and their the EPA and all these people, what they do is they tell you that this is the policy you're going to go under, and you're going to like it, because we're going to ban anybody from complaining. And you see it right down the line. The Supreme Court rules come up, and what do? They turn around and put people in jail or fine them heavily for in the EPA, and now with these rights that the courts are passing out as against constitutional authority, but they're given, instead of rights coming from God, they're coming from men. And
Right.
So if you don't go along with it, if you don't like it, you better not say anything, because there may be a fine and eventually it'll be jail time. So But
Well, see, I was driving by the Jackson prison yesterday. I was looking to see if they changed the sign from Correction Center to Re-Education Center like they used to have in communist China.
well, that's next. Believe
Yeah,
me,
that'll be next.
I got an article in my stack of stuff about the guy that refused to bake the cake, and they told him he's got to pay the fine or either bake the cake, one or the other. But you're gonna, and then we want to take all of your workers and train them. So, Mark, thank you for your call this morning. I've got a couple of lines that I want to get to, and don't be a stranger. Call back.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you for the show. Thank you.
All righty. We're going to go to line 2 and Mike. Mike, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much. You know, every time I turn you guys on, I keep thinking, why am I not listening more? Because you talk so much sense. And
Well, thank you.
so that's my perhaps to apologize. I might have missed some of the earlier part of the of today's show. But my question has to do: doesn't Obamacare take care of most of what Planned Parenthood does? I keep hearing about all the other services that Planned Parenthood provides, and yet I'm thinking, now doesn't Obamacare provide a solution? And isn't that a driver for eliminating Planned Parenthood on the basis of redundancy?
Well,
That's my
it should.
question.
It should.
Oh, that's a good question.
You talk about things like pregnancy tests, STD treatment, sonograms, preventive care, cancer screening. They still want Planned Parenthood to be in existence because there's a bigger agenda. The bigger agenda is that they need to in these communities they need to decrease the number of Americans so that they can remake America with all these illegals. And that's the bottom line. This open border and this is the remaking of America. Yeah. And so it's not really, I mean, it is about abortion. I mean, it is about, so Planned Parenthood is a part of the bigger picture of remaking America.
How much?
I believe that, there's a lot of Orwellian, what did George Orwell call it? Newspeak? Right?
Yeah.
You just changed what you call stuff and then it makes more palatable people. But I have to tell you, I work in the technological field. It's very difficult for people to change. You need a 10-to-1 advantage. And we're all talking very reasonably this morning. But there are some people who are so rabid, and I'll just say it in rabid Democrats or rabid liberals, that you bring this up. And this is part of a fleet of issues, maybe 4 or 5 of them, that they feel so intensely about.
Yeah.
You can't reason with these people.
No, that's exactly right. And they've got the levers of power to be able to keep their message in the mainstream.
And that media is 4 square behind them. I mean, it's the fifth estate. The real power of the Democrat Party lies in that media, the mainstream media. If they get into your corner, you'll get a smooth ride. If they get against you, they can make things really rough for you.
Well, it's interesting. Back in the 70s, when the women's movement was engendered to try to make women equal to men, I could never understand why we would ever want to be equal to men. I always thought we were superior. I like having doors open for me.
Thank you.
No, you're right. My 80-year-old grandmother used to say, she always had a career, that you're not going to change human nature. Men and women need each other.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot. Hey, look, I'm going to continue. Thanks very much for taking my call. Enjoy your insight. And I just don't know why. I got to start setting my alarm clock a little earlier so I can listen to you.
Yeah,
We agree with you.
Yeah. Join us regularly. Okay, thanks for your call. All right, we're going to go to line 3, and this is Jimmy from Manchester. Good morning, Jimmy.
Good morning. How are you today?
Well, I'm doing pretty good.
That's good. And what you said earlier, when they start attacking free speech and fining people, putting them in jail for having an opinion that differs from theirs, is the more we have to speak up and speak out and speak louder and band together more. Glenn Beck is having an event on 8/28 called Never Again Is Right Now in Birmingham, Alabama. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of people can't afford to go all the way to Birmingham, Alabama, but how about Jackson or Canton or Ypsilanti? And we need to show up at every congressional district that we can possibly show up at. I don't care if it's just 2 or 3 people.
Agreed.
And we don't need to protest as much as we need to explain to them this is a grievance, and we're asking for a redress.
Yes.
We want you to defund Planned Parenthood and investigate them. If there was wrongdoing, put the people in jail and be done with it.
Right.
And stop this human trafficking. This is slavery. This is exploitation of women. It's just plain evil. And abortion is one thing, but the trafficking of human parts is you can't.
Well, you can't traffic in ivory. You can't traffic in skins of animals. But yet still we allow trafficking in human body parts. It's atrocious and it is abominable.
Right, and the same people that defend it would get mad at me for selling a raccoon hide.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
It's totally despicable and disgusting, and there are many other issues too. I mean, GMOs and things. But
well, Jimmy, send us the information, and look, let's get together and let's show up. I'm with you.
Yeah, I'll be speaking at the event on the 22nd at the Planned Parenthood. I believe it's in Ypsilanti. I'll have to check my calendar, but I will be speaking about this event.
Well, don't be a stranger. Call back, and you're welcome here anytime. We're coming to the end of the show. We want to thank you again for calling this morning. And
thank you.
Stay in touch. Okay, we are about at the end today, and so you want to give that information about...
the protest in Warren, on Van Dyke, north of 12 Mile on the east side of the street. We're looking forward to everyone being there.
All right. We will see you next week, folks. Mailing correspondence to Art of Michigan, Post Office Box 135, Garden City, Michigan, 48135.
Or follow Phil and Del at artofmichigan.com. You can also send emails to artofmichigan@hotmail.com. And most of all, continue to listen every Saturday and tell a friend.